Once again, thank you for coming to the channel. If you're new, hit that subscribe button and that notification button so you stay up to date to all the new videos.
And it wouldn't hurt if you hit that like button.
Yeah, give us a like. We love that shit. Now, for today's discussion video.
Okay.
DC.
Yeah. With Shazam 2 Fury of the Gods coming out, DC is being shaken up a lot. And I think now would be the perfect time for us to talk about it, see what's coming down the pike, see where it's going, and if we have any thoughts or opinions about it, because Lord knows I do.
They definitely need to step it up, that's for sure, I'm sure.
So, just a little bit of backstory. The DC EU, which is comprised of basically Wonder Woman 1984, Aquaman, Superman, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and the theatrical cut of Justice League. That is basically what was Zack Snyder's vision, basically.
Yeah,
everybody refers to it to
universe.
The Snyderverse.
Yeah.
And they called it basically the DCEU, the DC Extended Universe. Well, if you know, things happened. Zack Snyder had to step away from the Justice League movie. They brought in Joss Whedon, and Joss Whedon basically debacled the whole thing. And what we got in theaters, a lot of fans were mad about the infamous mustache.
Yeah, no one was happy.
So, years down the road, Zack Snyder was able to bring out his version of the Justice League movie, which was exclusive to HBO Max, and it dropped a couple years ago, and it was phenomenal. If you haven't seen it, it is long, 4 hours, but it is definitely worth it. It really ties it all together the way it was supposed to years ago. So after that, DC was kind of in limbo. They didn't know what was going on.
For a minute.
I mean, yeah, the movies that they were coming out with really weren't getting the numbers that they wanted, and they certainly weren't competing with Marvel movies.
I mean, come on, the Batman movie.
That's completely separate. That's not even part of the DCEU.
So that wasn't part of the, okay.
No. So now, with the merger of Warner Brothers and Discovery, they basically brought in James Gunn and Peter Safran to spearhead DC. So they changed it to the DCU. So it's now the DC universe, basically.
No more DCEU.
No more DCU. But with that being said, there's certain things that have to change. They don't want to stick with Snyder's vision. They want to be fresh and basically claim it as their own going forward.
Which he did say in the interview that he was going to stay truer to the comics than the rest of them has. But like I said, we'll see.
Right. James Gunn is good in his own right. I've never really been a big fan of him. But, me being a DC fan, I am really curious to see where he's going to take these characters.
It's 50-50 with me. Some of his stuff is good. Some of it's needs some work. It's up in the air. So
basically, as it stands right now, Shazam: Fury of the Gods is part of
Snyder.
That's where you're tricky, because technically it's pre James Gunn, but it'll still work moving forward if they continue the story.
So they're going to play off of it. Is what they're going to do.
There really won't be any big changes until the Flash movie. The Flash movie that comes out June 16th is when it's supposed to be.
That's the whole reset.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So from there, they're supposed to be coming out with the Blue Beetle movie, which I would imagine is probably an origin story.
And the other Aquaman.
They can basically plug it in wherever they want to later on.
Yeah.
And that drops August 18th.
And then the Aquaman movie in December.
Yes, the Lost Kingdom.
Which they didn't have really too much to do with as well.
Right. So it's kind of curious to see how these movies that were already made,
and how they're going to tie them into that universe.
Because you got to remember, Flash and Aquaman was supposed to come out last year.
Mm-hmm.
But they kept getting pushed back because of the whole
COVID,
DC merger and everything.
The whole thing, yeah.
So since they've got pushed back, there's really not much they can do because it's basically already been filmed. So they can tweak some things here or there, a couple reshoots here and there, but the overall story is basically done. And I'm pretty sure they had some knowledge of the transition of power going forward. So James Gunn probably had his hands in there a little bit to kind of set the story off to where he wanted it to go. But really, you're not going to see his universe come into fruition on the silver screen, as they say, until
Superman Legacy. Which is July 11th, 2025.
Exactly. So that means there's a whole year. After Aquaman comes out on Christmas, there'll be a whole year.
No, 2 years. Oh no, I guess
about
so.
a year and
December.
a half.
Yeah, about a year and a half. Yeah.
And they might, push it forward and they might push it back. Who knows? But you know, it'll be a whole year and a half basically before we see a movie for DC, a live action movie. As far as animated stuff, I'm pretty sure they're going to bridge the gap.
Yeah, they'll probably come out with a lot of
because they have a couple anime shows.
That's one thing DC's always been good about. Is
yes,
in their animated
their animations
movies,
are on
Their
point.
animated movies are like
Yes.
their animated department is. I love their freaking movies, bro.
It definitely is phenomenal.
The next movie that's coming out, this James Gunn's project, is The Brave and the Bold. That's the new Batman movie.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Batman, and it's going to focus on him a little bit older. Maybe not as
with
old
his
as
son, right?
Yeah, and it's going to be Damian Wayne.
Yeah.
So it's going to be pre-League of
Damian
Shadows and
as
everything.
Robin.
Like,
yeah, that's going to be nuts, bro.
Yeah.
Now they are dropping the Batman 2, but that's not part of the James Gunn.
Right, that's part of the Matt Reeves.
So don't get that confused with the rest of them.
Right.
Another project that James Gunn is developing right now is the new Supergirl movie that they're working on, which is Woman of Tomorrow.
And I'm pretty sure the same Supergirl that plays in The Flash is going to be the same Supergirl in that movie.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that changing yet. Are they changing the Flash? I would love to see them use the TV.
And you know, there's a rumor going around that in the movie he's gonna somehow at the end of it be the Flash
because
that
he
we get
makes a
in the future.
really great
He
Flash.
and it's the last season, so his schedule's free.
And like I said, I did love the first 4 seasons of Flash, but then after the 4th season, it lost me.
We're going to talk about Flash.
Yeah.
That's definitely something I could talk about. But yeah, there's talks that he might be. It's just a rumor though.
Right.
But I mean, a lot of people would like to see him replace Ezra Miller as the Flash.
Another one is The Authority.
Yeah, I'm really not too sure about The Authority. A lot of people aren't even going to know who they are. I mean, it's not really a major DC property.
Anti-Justice League. It's basically the Anti-Justice League.
So we'll definitely see the introduction of all of these new characters going forward. And I imagine that realistically, James Gunn said that he has like a 10-year plan. And he's already kind of released his first, Gods and Monsters is what the first, DC, I guess, storyline or however you want to look at it is going to be called. And that's what all of these are. It's kind of leading up to that.
I got you.
So curious to see what storylines he's going to pick and choose from and how it's all going to culminate, because you got to remember he's trying to basically do what Marvel's doing. He's trying to create this big shared universe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be a lot of moving pieces.
I mean, that's really the smart way to do it, because Marvel's making a fortune off of it right now.
Yeah, but Marvel was methodical though. They took their time. That's
they really
the difference.
did.
DC's really trying to play catch
and it was
up.
a struggle for them at the beginning too. Like Marvel wasn't making any money for the longest time.
Yeah, especially off their superhero characters.
DC was making all the money. Because you had Christopher Reeves as Superman.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton as Batman. And freaking Jack Nicholson.
Which I have to address this. I heard it's a rumor, and it better be, but I heard that allegedly they're going to bring George Clooney back for the Batman Brave and the Bold movie. I will boycott. I will
not go see any of James Gunn's project if he does that.
Hopefully it's just a vicious rumor circling around.
I am putting that on camera right now. If he does that shit, I will not watch any of these DCU movies at all.
So let's hope that it's just a rumor. So they also have the Peacemaker season 2.
Yeah, and the Waller
and Peacemaker, which Peacemaker season 1. If you haven't seen it, it's on HBO Max. John Cena plays Peacemaker, and he does a
fabulous job, bro.
I enjoyed it more than I really thought I would.
It matches his personality so well.
I never would have thought.
Another TV series that they're working on is the Booster Gold TV series. And that's the one I'm excited about.
Yes.
Because I love Booster Gold. That's one of my favorite DC characters is Booster Gold. Because he reminds me of Spider-Man in a way.
He really does. I mean, he's quick on his feet.
The way he's quick on his feet, quick with the
whimsical,
quips, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and he always seems to find himself in precarious situations. It's just like, what's going on? I like it.
And then again, the Lantern TV series that they're making. That's another TV series that they're getting ready
it's
to
supposed to focus on Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan.
Yeah, it's going to bounce back between the two of them.
Which, if you know anything about DC, it kind of crossing over storylines there, but.
And they have said that it is in development, but there hasn't been a lot of talk about it.
They've been keeping a lot of things very hush hush.
But Constantine too.
Look,
It is in the plans. It is in development, but I haven't heard any information about it. I would love to see Keanu come
Thank you.
back.
Look, that's it. Look,
he made
Constantine
the perfect Constantine, man.
Keanu. I'm there.
Yeah.
He could just be staring at the screen for an hour and a half, and I'm a...
Yeah. Pretty much.
So hopefully going forward, DC gets their act together and is
I would like to see them keep up with Marvel.
Exactly. I want them to be competitive as they were back in the comic book era because they were always neck and neck.
I'm getting tired of every superhero movie I want to watch is freaking Marvel because it's the only decent one that's...
I mean, I just would like a little bit more grittiness, a little bit more realism. You know,
a little bit more competition.
You can definitely tell that Marvel is more family friendly, which is fine.
I mean, but DC's dark comic books anyway.
It needs to be more. You know, to me, I always felt like DC was more.
But
like
you can still
in
be
the real world,
dark and be family at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, you say that, but Batman come out, start breaking bones, and like out the shadows.
I mean, Superman ain't. He may not kill people, but he ain't nice to them by no means.
But I definitely will give James Gunn and Peter Safran their time to shine.
We'll see what they got.
Definitely.
We'll see if they got it.
I'm optimistic.
Me too. I'm hoping that they do well. I really am. I'm not rooting for them to fail because I really would love to see DC come up.
I would like to see some competition.
Yes.
That's what I would say. Just a little bit
That's
of
the biggest thing, yeah. Some competition between the two. Is that it? On the DC part?
Yeah, more or less. We'll see what the future holds with DC.
And then maybe we'll do another one of these videos in the future.
Look, good or bad,
I'll be back.
True that. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So, thank y'all for stopping by today. Listen to our rant and rave about DC and the future that it may hold.
Right.
Are you in high hopes? Are you worried? Are you
even a DC fan? Like,
exactly. Are you not even concerned? Marvel's been doing this for years. They're going to blow DC out the water regardless of what they do. Or
they've got a pretty good formula right now.
Or do you think DC is about to make a comeback? I mean, because realistically, a lot of people are starting to get burnt out on these superhero type films.
I mean, yeah, I think that's why they're trying. I think that's the biggest reason why Marvel's trying to go to their little younger.
Yeah, they're trying to
part of it. Yeah, they're trying to modernizing it now.
Refresh. Hashtag refresh.
Which we'll have a video on that as well.
Definitely. So, once again, thanks again for stopping by at the Palace. And y'all have a great day.